All right, so welcome to your 2023 growth plan. And this is a topic, stretching people's minds to think about, for the most part, no matter where you are right now, to think differently about where you can be in the future. And really the subtitle, I think, says it all in terms of my firmly held beliefs around business and in real estate specifically, how we can tend to get out of bounds and put our business ahead of our life. So my goal today is put you in a position where you can absolutely grow your business no matter what happens in your market or with the economy, and put your life first. If you don't have a copy, this is probably one of our most powerful exercises in Real Estate B School. It's putting your life first. Just put my life first wherever you are seeing this, and my team or myself, we will do our best to find those my life first comments wherever you are watching this. So here is the work we have cut out for us. So my promise, and this is the promise of Real Estate B School, in any training I do here in this community, or if you're watching on YouTube, wherever you're consuming this, it's to help you guys increase your net worth. That is the first mountain that we are typically climbing in real estate. How can I make a lot of money? But for the most part, it comes with a sacrifice, and we don't have the time off that we want, and we don't put the things that matter most in our lives in the proper priority. So we want you to have impact and put things first. Guys, I did not have this figured out when I started in real estate. This is November 2007. This little guy right now is driving. So 2007, so he's 15 now. And I was out of bounds. I sold 27 homes in my first 10 months. I figured out how to generate a lead, how to call it with a simple script, how to get face-to-face, how to get them to agree to do business with me. And I just repeated that a lot of times. Sold 44 homes in 2008, my first full year. But you can see the little guy's a little bigger, and I was totally not present. I was failing as a dad. I was failing as a husband. I wasn't taking care of myself physically. And I was not headed in a good direction. And I told my wife, Julie, as I was ruining our family vacation, this is me working on our first vacation 3 years in, trust me, honey, I have a plan. More importantly, I had a why. I had a lot of chaos as a kid. My dad was an alcoholic, drank until I was 15 years old. My parents divorced when I was 4, and he was a business owner. They left Sweden to start a business in New Jersey, Renee of Sweden. They were hairstylists, my mom and my dad. And 33 years he was in business, and he had nothing to show for it financially. So I believe the stress of that business at least contributed, my thought is significantly, to him turning to drinking, to sort of numb the pain, and maybe not fulfilling on his promises he made as a husband and as a dad. And so I've used that as fuel. And so my question for you, and you're not going to be able to answer it right now, but write this down. What's your why? What's your why? Or go back and watch this again when you have some time to pause it and say, what's your why? Why are you doing this? Why are you getting up and hustling and grinding and doing all the things? Why do you want to make an additional $100,000 in the bank next year, right? What is your why? For me, this is my 2010 business plan. So at the end of 2009, I geeked out and I wrote this plan, had a whole bunch of really impactful. I'm not going to show you if anybody wants it, figure out a way to reach out to me and I'll give you a copy of it. The back of this was my why. And it was, part of it was to provide a life for my family that they never thought was possible. I didn't have a great upbringing. My wife had some challenges with her upbringing and some chaos there. And so that was really my motivation. And then ultimately to be a really great husband, really great dad. 2011, I had professional categories of improvement, 5 personal, 5 professional. So I've really been at this game for a long time. And incrementally, I've grown into the person that I wanted to become. And now I have I think it's like 14 pages long. And that's not to say that to overwhelm you, but I have a personal vision and how I want to be remembered. I even have like my eulogy by sort of constituent, like how I want to be remembered as a husband, how I want to be remembered by my son, by my daughter, by my mom, by my sister, by those that I've served in the real estate industry. So, You've got to slow down and think of some of these things. But the overarching question I have for you is, do you have a plan in place to achieve meaningful goals in the areas of life that matter? And if you do, are you following it? Right? So that's what we're going to unpack today. So why does planning matter? It matters because it is insane. To even be in the real estate industry is insane. To be in the real estate industry as we're entering into an economic winter is insane. To have a wife and kids is really hard. To balance that with doing real estate and the chaos and insanity and drama that goes along with it. So to say that we have competing priorities is a massive understatement. And I understand that it's extraordinary times. And what I mean by that is that we are pulled in so many different directions, right? Your phone, social media, texting, Netflix, the news, all of this stuff is competing for our attention. And you're gonna suffer in some area of your life. I believe that you won't achieve the best version of yourself if you don't have some structure and a plan in place, which is sort of like your North Star, the guidepost to make sure you end up where you want to end up. And the next thing here is that real estate is really, really hard. There are way too many real estate agents competing over the number of transactions out there. Now, what's going to happen in the next 12, 24, hopefully not 36 months, but for the next 1 or 2 years at least, there's just going to be a lot less home selling and there's going to be a lot more agents. There's just a ton of agents right now. When I got into real estate 2007, there was 15,000 agents. I think in 2010 or 11, there were 5,000 agents. So there will be a cleansing that happens in our industry. And I want you to be one of the survivors, right? The game that we're playing is a very simple game. This is worth a screenshot. This is the whole game of real estate. You generate, the game is to build systems around all this. So that's the game that I play. But most agents are haphazardly generating leads. They're haphazardly not systematically having connections or text or email or phone conversations. They don't have an appointment setting process. They don't really have like a consultation process. They don't really, kind of have like an actual sales system, and they don't deliver a level of client care that's referral worthy, right? So this thing doesn't turn into the virtuous cycle that we want it to. So take that real estate's really hard, and there are a ton of us. Ultimately, we're a commodity. And the only way to differentiate yourself, and I don't mean that for all of us, and it's not a personal, you could be a true pro, you could be a veteran and play the game of real estate at a very high level. The public sees us as a commodity. And so we have to fight that perception. So how do we get there? There are 6 points that I want to unpack. Number one, and this goes back to a training that I did called the time freedom system, but you have to know your net worth. Your net worth is simply the take home money pre-tax in a year divided the number of hours you work in a year. It's very simple. If you take home cash in the bank pre-tax 250,000 and you work a 50-hour work week, which is 2,500 hours a year, your BFI is $100 per hour. If it's less than $100 per hour, well, let me say, if it is $100 per hour, you're doing a lot of things that are $20, $30 an hour tasks, and you're doing probably a lot of things that are $500 to $1,000 an hour tasks. The game of business is to let go of the stuff that is not worth your time, quote unquote. It could still be really important, but it's not worth your time, and elevate over time into more dollar productive tasks. So you've got to know your current BFI, Business Freedom Index. You have to know where you want it to be. Right. So if you're at 50 now and you want to get to 250, you have to stop doing the things that are sucking that number down. And there are so many of those things in real estate. Number two is that we have to be productive and not busy. This definition by Dan Kennedy, productivity is the deliberate strategic investment of your time, talent, intelligence, energy, resources, and opportunities in a manner calculated to move you measurably closer to meaningful goals. If you were to measure your productivity on a daily basis with a definition like this, how would you how would you, I was going to say stack up or rank, and I just said rack. How would you rank yourself on a daily basis? At the end of the day today, as you're watching this, just say, all right, just ask yourself this one question, snapshot this and ask it at the end of every day, and 1 to 5. If you're in the car running errands essentially all day, you're not deliberate, you're not strategic, you're not investing your talents and intelligence, and resources, and you're probably not moving measurably closer to meaningful goals that matter in all areas of life, right? So work your plans. There's only 5 things that make us money in real estate: prospecting, lead follow-up, appointments, new appointments with like new buyers and sellers, negotiating, getting a home under contract, not repairs or appraisals, and then building systems. That's it. You need to figure out how much of your time is spent doing those things versus all the other things you're doing. And it's usually 80-20. 80 is spent wasted not doing those things, and 20% is probably doing those things. We've got to flip the script and go 80-20. 80% is spent plans, and then 20% is sort of the other stuff you're doing. Number 3 is that there's freedom in structure. These questions, I'm going to rapid fire these questions at you, but it's the essence of why our members are massively successful. They begin with the end in mind. Where do I want my business to be 3 short years from now? That's the 3-year vision. Create an annual plan. What must I accomplish this coming year so that I leave no shadow of a doubt that I'm going to crush or achieve my 3-year vision? Construct your quarters. What must I focus on during the next 90 days so that I actually achieve my 1-year plan, so I'm that much closer to achieving my 3-year vision? Win your weeks. What are my top 3 for the coming week? My top week for the coming, my top 3 for the coming week that feed into the quarter, that feed into the year, that feed into the vision, right? And then dominate your days. What must I do today to reach my goals? That is a frog. There's a book by Brian Tracy called Eat That Frog, and frogs in sales are new business development, the P and the L, prospecting and lead follow-up. How many hours a day, and have you constructed systems around doing that work? And the cash follows the calendar. That's the beautiful part of it. Screenshot this. Do you have a sustainable calendar that supports you making the kind of money that you make in a reasonable amount of hours with a level of stress that you can endure? Number 4 is you must think in systems. There's an awesome book, Atomic Habits by James Clear. We do not rise to the level of your goals. We fall to the level of our systems. And everything in real estate B-School is systems, and you guys will see that. We need to regularly assess. So that's number 5. And be honest with yourself. We have 2 key assessments. Well, 3 really. A personal wellness assessment where you look at all the areas of your life. A strategic business assessment where we look at the 6 drivers in your business and the 12 accelerators. And then we do a net worth tracker, and we do a KPI and a summary financial performance. But you have to be honest with yourself about where you're at. 6, super critical, run your race. That is a horse. The things over the horse's eyes, they're called blinders. Some horses, not all, but some horses get spooked by those next to them and they get off of their race. So use that visual where you need to block out what other people are doing and just to commit to what you could do to achieve what you want to achieve. Comparison via social media or a conversation with another agent or looking at the car that they drive or what the vacation that they're on. Comparison is the thief of joy. This is a game of you versus you. You can achieve anything you want in real estate. It's all about your next right thing. So as long as you know the system you need to build, the next system you need to build to get that leverage so you can do more in less time, that's all you need to worry about. So in terms of doing the work, there's some questions I'm going to follow through here with, and I want you to take some time, go back to this video, take some time to go through these. What are your top 3 best things for these past 12 months? Whenever you're watching this video, past 3 months, past 12 months rather. What are the biggest challenges you've grown through in the past 12 months? What unfinished business do you have to clean up? What are your top 3 aspirations for the next 12 months in business and personal? How do you want your numbers to be different next year? The number of homes you sell, the amount of money you take home. How do you want your marketing to be different? Maybe you don't have any systems set up. How do you want your impact to be different? Maybe you have a team member, or maybe in your family with your kids or your spouse, or you're a sibling or a parent, or in your community. How do you want your lifestyle to be different? Maybe you're going to give up evenings and weekends and still double, triple your income. And what do you want more of and what do you want less of? And I only will have one offer ever for anyone that's in this world and you're not in my inner world. If you want to go further, faster, let's just jump on a call. It's a quick conversation, less than 15 minutes. It's a business growth assessment. It's rebsgrowthassessment.com. The goal is just to get a clear plan together, where we look at where you are now, where you want to be in the future, 12 months from now. What's holding you back? What have you tried? What are the obstacles? And we will help you if we can. rebsgrowthassessment.com. My friends, we will see you on the next training. Much love, much respect. Bye-bye.